It's Heather Lytle Communications. How are you? It's March. It's March. And we're talking about cleaning up your financial act this month. Our first topic is we're going to talk about expenses. Now, I know I just talked about expenses in January, and you're like, Heather, we already talked about this. We did. But I'm going to talk about a different aspect of it. Okay, so expenses. January, we talked about making sure that you get your receipts around, make sure everything is done timely. Today, we're going to talk about appropriate expenses and a review process, because you need these things really to kind of help keep your financial act in order, right? So if you have a lot of employees, they're out doing their employee thing, making deals, bringing in business, schmoozing clients, and they're going to have expenses, right? And that's amazing because that's just part of doing business. Let's just get that out of there. It's part of doing business. But there is a risk with expenses a lot of times is fraud. So you want to make sure that, one, you're protecting your company against fraud, which is really going to mess up your financial act. Let's be clear. And two, you make sure that you are encouraging or have a framework in which your employees can make a sound decision, business decision. They can make good decisions when it comes to expenses. And that comes in an expense policy. So we're going to talk about what are acceptable expenses, who can have an expense account, who's allowed to spend over $100, those sorts of things. So you want to really think about that in your expense policy. Because what's going to happen is somebody's going to take out their brother-in-law who like maybe wants to do business. Really, dude's never going to do business. Just let it go. And take him out to Ruth's Chris or another high-end restaurant, spend $250 for business, and nothing ever comes of it, okay? So really setting the parameters on who can take clients out, how much they can spend without getting pre-approval. Sometimes it's going to be more, and that's okay. But the process needs to be to get pre-approval for that, to not necessarily, and maybe pre-approval is not the right word. Maybe just give somebody notice of, hey, you know, these people are really going to spend a lot of money. Oh, okay. Tell me more about them. Yeah, you're right. They could spend a lot of money. Okay. I really want you to sit down and talk to them and really, show them good time and really build that relationship. And I'll be honest, before I had a business, I always saw it when people were taking clients out and I was like, oh my God, they just want to go out to eat. Part of it's true. I'm not gonna lie. But the other part of it is really having a meal together, really, and breaking bread and really just having that connection does build relationships. It's not just taking somebody out and showing them a good time. It's having a good time together, learning about them, building the relationship, and just being that, and just letting them see who you are, okay, rather than just the sales technique. So that's kind of like where you want to think about that. But that's all well and good, but you need some parameters around there. You can't just let everybody just free for all, take everybody out whenever they want for steaks and martinis. So in your expense policy, you want to make sure that you have clear parameters on what's an acceptable expense, when do you need to get pre-approval, how you're going to handle some of these larger expenses, and even really if you want to go down to cost centers and cover what cost center can be charged for what. I mean, and that's usually a big discussion is, oh, I don't want that charged to my location. That's $250. I don't want that charged to my location. So really putting together those rules and parameters in your expense policy is really going to help you get your financial act in order. Okay. So there's that piece. Also making sure that you're recording your expenses. Now we talked about this and getting organized. I'm going to touch on it again here very briefly because we don't want to wait until the last minute to get stuff in or show up with a shoebox full of receipts. Because let me tell you, your accountant's going to love you because they're going to charge you so much money. Be like, yeah, shoebox full of receipts. Think there was a dead gerbil in there. you need to take care of it. So making sure that you're staying on top of stuff and cleaning up your financial act. And really, it's just about making sure that you have that financial literacy piece, that you're communicating those expectations to your staff and that they understand and everybody's on the same page. Because let me tell you, when everybody's on the same page, everybody's so much happier. All right, so clean up your financial act month expenses. Stay tuned for more. We're going to cover more topics in another video, and stay tuned for that. Have a great one.